Holla, if you hear me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Dennis Roland Show, sponsored by your friendly people over at North Oaks Health System, located right here in Hammond, just off of Veterans Boulevard. I'm Mark Verbois, alongside Lions head coach, Coach Dennis Roland. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
Next half hour, we're going to look at first and second half highlights from this week's game against Mississippi Valley State. We're going to take a look at this week's player profile segment, looking at junior defensive back Duke Adams. We're going to look at this week's big play of the week, and also a scouting report looking forward to next season. Coach, big win, 38-21. How's it feel to get that W in the win column last game of the season?
It was really good. Our players really played well. I was really worried last week in practice because I thought that I was afraid it might be anticlimactic after that last big senior day game. You go on the road like that, and especially when you had not won as many games as we had. So it showed a lot of character on our team's part to go up there on the road in their house on their senior day and come up with a big victory. I'm just really proud of our team and really happy to get it. And it just gives us a kind of a boost going into the off-season recruiting as well as off-season workouts.
Mississippi Valley State, they said, was ranked 10th on offense. Our defense stepped up big this week, had a couple big sacks, I think 4 total, maybe more than that. How do you think you're feeling from defense this week?
It was good. We got a lot of young players playing on defense, and we had a good combination of seniors and young players stepping up and containing that quarterback because he was really dangerous, and it was important that we not let him get out of the pocket and hurt us running the football and force him to make some bad decisions, and we did that and came up with some big picks, some big quarterback sacks, and it was a great day for our defense, setting the tempo down the stretch.
Trey Willie actually led in rushing this week, had 74 yards on 11 carries. Was that in the game plan going into the game?
We thought we could run the ball on him, and 2 weeks ago, we of course, Trey's had the option all season long. If his receivers are covered to pull it down and run it, that's what one of his added gifts is mobility. But 2 weeks ago, we put in a quarterback trap draw and had a lot of success against Nichols with it, and it was in the game plan again for Mississippi Valley, and he executed that real well and ran the ball as well as our other running backs too.
Well, this is the last game of the season, as we said. You had Merrick Lano had over 100 yards catching 2 TDs. You had Hutch Gonzalez with over 100 yards, 2 TDs. Was that kind of a pass in the rain sort of thing with Hutch being a senior and Merrick being a freshman?
Well, I don't know. It's with our offense, you never know who's going to step up big week in and week out. Merritt had been really gaining more and more reps, especially since the Northwestern game. And, he just came up big. He had almost 400 yards catching, receiving on the year. And as a true freshman, we think he had a good year. Matter of fact, I nominated him for Freshman of the Year in the conference. I don't know if he'll get it or not, but he's certainly deserving a look at that. And I'm really glad he's going to be a Lion for us in years to come.
This was a non-conference game. It was the last game of the season. It could be like a learning game for a lot of players. And did you get everything you wanted to accomplish out of the game there?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing was getting a W. Second, sending our seniors off with feel good, knowing that they took our program through this conference the first time around and gave us a chance to be competitive. And to win that last game is something they can remember. And then for our underclassmen, a lot of them played on Saturday. A lot of them got a chance to be there. And for them to give them a boost in the weightlifting and the off-season and a taste of things that are yet to come.
Let's look at those first half highlights from this week's game against Mississippi Valley State. They're sponsored by the Caboose with locations here in Hammond as well as Independence. Let's take a look.
Trey looking for a receiver and gets Robbie Skates for it was a great catch by Robbie. Robbie made a nice adjustment. Catch that football. Pretty day for football in terms of a little cloudy, but here's Merrick Lano on his first catch for a touchdown. It was just a beautiful job. We had a little shallows route, and he caught it and slipped off a tackle and scored a touchdown. You can see our players were really excited about that. And this came after a forced Sherman Days caused a fumble on kickoff, so with about a minute and 16 seconds gone, we're up 7-0, and a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm on our sideline. We kick off to them, and Jim Hall kicks a deep ball that they elect to bring it out again. So once again, see a lot of white Lion jerseys on that tackle, and our defense is really getting after them here. Rudy Johnson just had a big day playing for us, and Derek Mincy and Duke Adams and all our defensive players. This quarterback really dangerous with his scrambling and elusiveness, and you can see he's really challenged us in there. But our players doing their assignments and staying home, and Coach Lucas did a good job bringing pressure, blitzes, and you see Pinky Hardeman coming in there, and their guy catches one over the middle there. Ball popped loose, but the officials ruled that he was down. Now we're back on offense. Defense did a good job getting us the football, and Trey hands it off to our back, and he does a good job getting up in there and getting some positive yardage. It's Mario. Here's Trey throwing. Just a beautiful throw to Hutch Gonzalez. We ran a shallows route with Muhammad, and they blew a coverage, and Trey did a great job finding Hutch, and Hutch had a big day for his last game as a senior as well. Jim Hall kicks the extra point. And we're up 14-0, and again, not a lot of time gone off the clock, about 6 minutes gone off the clock, and everybody's feeling real good on our sideline. Their quarterback rears back and throws one deep, and I tell you what, that was just a great pick there by Charles Hall. I believe that Charles got it. And I thought this was an opportunity for us to really maybe start trying to put them away early, and we'd come out and attempt a long ball, and just a little miscommunication with our receiver and quarterback, and they get a pick and get it back. But once again, our defense is up to the task, and we got people really just playing hard in here. Their offense was number 10 in the country, in the nation, in total offense. And our defense held them 271 yards, I believe that's right. Here's good protection by our lineman. Trey's got all day, and he finally pulls it down and scrambles. And they ruled that a fumble. I thought he was on the ground, and the officials ruled that a fumble. They had a big back. He got a lot of yardage on the day. Got over 100 yards, but our defense did a good job containing him. Once again, Trey pulls it down, gets us a first down here. Hands it off to Blake Alfordish, and Blake runs the ball really aggressive. Run our quarterback trap draw, and another first down. And Trey just pulls it down and scrambles and gets more positive yardage. I think another first down. Now he's going to hit Chris, and he picks up good yardage. And I think this one might come back. They brought this one back for a holding call or something. We end up having a punt, and now they've got the football, and just you see that quarterback how good he is at trying to get away from pressure, but we end up getting him. Gerald Watson came in and just sparked us a little bit with his running. Just did a nice job. Here he is again, and good blocking by our receivers and our linemen. They got him this time. They brought more than we could block. Sometimes that happens, especially when we go no backs. But Jim comes in and kicks a nice field goal, and we're up 17-0, and feeling pretty good right now. But with an offense as explosive as they are, there ain't no guarantees. You can see he'll rear back and throw that thing. Duke gets one of his picks. And we're back on offense, and Trey sees an opening and takes advantage of it and gets another first down for us. Good pressure, tip ball, and here comes Duke again. And that's a great run. He avoids tackles. I thought he was going to score on this. And he's going to take us down inside the 5-yard line. Good blocking and good hustling there by his teammates. He's about out of gas. You can see our players helping him to the sideline. He was about out of gas there. We told him out of shape. But I tell you what, is great effort on his part. They've got everybody covered, so Trey wisely throws this ball, trying to throw it away and, put it over in the corner of the end zone, and I thought we almost came up with it. Jim puts us another field goal up, and now we're ahead, I think, at this point, 20-0, which is feeling good, but, anything can happen. And they get a drive going here with about 5 minutes before halftime and get her moving down the field. And score. There's a fumble there on the 1 yard line, and we scrambled around there, and somebody batted it in the end zone, and they fell on it. I thought it should have been their ball on the 1 yard line, but just didn't see it that way.
Well, that was the first half highlights brought to you by the Caboose with locations here in Hammond as well as Independence. Coach, you got 27 at halftime. You're up a little commanding lead. How do you feel coming out at the second half?
To be honest with you, I didn't feel real good. They had scored rather easily on their defense there right before halftime. Probably the only time of the day I thought our defense just, really wasn't on top of its A game. And I was really, in our offense, we had taken 2 down and ended up having to settle for field goals. I thought we were in a war. I thought momentum had shifted their way a little bit. And I was really worried that if we let them get too close, it was going to become a really huge war in the fourth quarter. And on the road, there's a lot of reasons why we did not need to let that happen. So I was really concerned at halftime.
Well, let's look at those second half highlights against Mississippi Valley State. They're brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home located at 501 Old Covington Highway right here in Hammond. Let's take a look.
All right, we're in the second half, and they've got the ball, and they throw one over the middle, and Orlando makes a tackle. And got a lot of people trying to swarm to the football. Eric Mincy hustling in there, and they hit one of the receivers over the middle. Rudy Johnson applying pressure, and David Daniels just making a big tackle right there. Here comes Rudy again. He gets him this time. And like I said, Rudy just had a big day for his last game as a line football player. They brought more than we could block there, and so we got to either hit our hot receiver or get rid of it. Good job by the line defense right here. That's just a great throw and great catch by Merritt Lano, freshman wide receiver from Hammond. Now we hand it off to Gerald Watson. They get some penetration from one of their linebackers, number 45. They're 2 linebackers, 44 and 45, who are great players. You can see right here, he's going to get Trey, but they had a holding call on the play, and that one came back. Jamal Jackson gets the punt, fields the punt, and now we're on offense. And this was a great throw to Merritt Lano. They were biting on the out. Josh Taylor. Merritt gets his second touchdown of the day. At this point, we're going to go for 2, and we're going to hit Hutz Gonzalez. Nobody even close. 2-point conversion. And that made it a 14-point ball game again, and gave us a little more breathing room at that point, 28-14, right at the end of the third quarter. Again, with them being explosive as they are, you just don't ever know. And here we got good pressure coming in, and Rudy Johnson gets another sack. Great running here by Gerald Watson. There's a face mask there if they didn't call it, I don't think. But Trey goes up the middle and gets some big yardage. This ended up being a really nice drive. We ate up a lot of clock. Moved the ball down the field. Had to overcome a lot of penalties, and we ended up getting a field goal, which gave us a 17-point cushion with 7:46 left in the fourth quarter. And again, a little bit more breathing room, but knowing that they could come back down the field at any time, and they did. And this kind of broke their back. It was a little wheel route to Hutch Gonzalez for his second catch of the day. And Jim Hall has the extra point. Of course, they come back and they want to try to get one more shot, and we're all over the quarterback. Derek Mincy and company. Of course, we shake hands and have to say goodbye to a good group of seniors.
That was the second half highlights brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home located at 501 Old Covington Highway. Coach, at the end of the game, what do you tell the kids?
Well, first of all, we thank our seniors for all they've done for our program. There's pretty emotional there at the end of the game. They realized that it was over for them, and we thank them and we challenge them to be Lions forever. And the talk that I gave them in pregame talk was to live for the Lions, live for the Lions today and in the future. And then we talked to our young guys about feel good about this victory, taste it. Let's go home. Let's get ready for Thanksgiving. We got a lot to be thankful for. We've had a lot of adversity we had to overcome this season. A lot of good things. I don't feel our record was indicative of the way we played. And going through this conference for the first year, I think we did a lot of amazing things. And now what we do in the off season and what we do in spring ball, get us ready for next season is what's going to really count. And we got to use this momentum to take us there.
This point of the show is going to bring us to this week's Big Play of the Week, sponsored by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. We got a big TD catch there from freshman wide receiver Merrick Lano, his second of the day. Let's take a look.
The big play of the week came in the third quarter. Mississippi Valley closed within 6 points of us, and really was a dangerous situation. And we made an adjustment on the sideline, and we're trying to throw the out route to Josh Taylor, and the cornerback bit down on it, and Trey Willie saw the corner bite, and he ended up going up top to Merrick Lano, and Merrick scores a huge touchdown for us to kind of open the game back up and enable us to get a 14-point lead.
That was this week's Big Play of the Week with the big touchdown catch there from freshman wide receiver Merrick Lano, sponsored by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. This point in the show, it brings this week's player profile segment looking at junior defensive back Duke Adams, sponsored by Subway Sandwiches located right here in the Student Union Mall. Let's take a look.
I'm here with junior defensive back Duke Adams. First off, tell me a little bit about Duke Adams. I mean, if you had to introduce Duke Adams to somebody, how would you introduce him?
Well, I'd say he was a pretty good guy, good manner guy, good character. Always going about his business. He's always doing what he has to do it at the right time.
But is there any more added pressure on you being a local guy when you go out there to play with all your fans and friends and the family and friends in the stands?
Well, yes, because I always want to make my fans feel at home because I'm from home. So it's always a lot of pressure because you want to do good for your parents, then your fans, your coaches, and everybody else. So.
All right, Duke, one of the things that separates you from a lot of the other players on the team is you've actually been here since the very beginning. You've played every year here since '03 when they brought football back. Talk a bit about what it's like being in the program for 3 straight years and going to be in it at 4th year next year.
Well, it's been a good 4 years. I've been here since day one, well, since the regular season started. Then this new coaching staff. But it's been crazy and it's been good. But just going to next year, hope bigger and better things out of the conference or whatever. But it's been a good ride, though.
Okay, this year you had 5 interceptions. You actually ended the last game of the season picking up 2, which brought you a total of 5 for the year. You had 4 interceptions last year. You had 2 interceptions in '03. Talk a little bit about the season that you just had, finishing with those 2 interceptions. One you almost took back to the house against Valley.
Yeah, well, we just wanted to come out and end on a good note. It was our last game. We wanted to let the seniors go out with a good win. And we just wanted to come out and play to the best of our abilities, and that's what we did. And I just wanted to make plays. After I made 2 interceptions, I almost ran one to the house or whatever. But we just wanted to end on a good note, and that's what we did. So looking forward to the spring now.
How has adjusting from one defensive scheme to the other been for the defensive backs?
Well, it wasn't hard at all, but I think this scheme was much better from last year because it's much easier, and everything just was clicking better from the past previous season.
Tell me a little bit about Duke Adams as a student. What's your major? How are your grades? Are you on track to graduate? Things like that?
Yes, my major is general studies. I have like 89 hours right now, so I'll be finishing the summer. So I had to wait to the fall semester 06 to walk, but I'll be pretty much through with school then.
Is there any interest from you to take your game to the next level?
Yes, that's pretty much what everybody plays for, to try to go to the next level. So that's what I'm working hard at every day, to try to go to the next level. So yes, I'll be very happy to go to the next level.
How good do you think this team can be next year?
Well, I think we'll be right up top for 1 and 2 in the conference next year. So we'll have to see though.
I know every player says what he wants to do in the offseason to get better. What are some of your goals for you? What do you want to accomplish this offseason to get better?
I just want to get stronger and get faster. Well, I guess the whole team want to get stronger and faster. So we're going to start all season Monday, so I'm going to be ready for that.
Well, that was this week's player profile segment, looking at junior defensive back Duke Adams, sponsored by Subway Sandwiches, located right here in the Student Union Mall. Coach Duke is a junior. He's coming back next season. What's he going to bring to the team?
Well, a lot of the pro scouts that have been through our campus looking at, and we've got some pro prospects, but a lot of them have really been impressed with Duke. They think he's a solid player. Not saying he's going to be a pro player, but they've been some people impressed about him, and we've been impressed. He's a solid player week in and week out. But we expect Duke to be a leader next year. We expect him to step up, and I know he has a voice that is respected on the team with our players. I expect him to use that voice and not only be a leader in terms of how he works, but hold other people accountable to take the step to get us to the next level as well.
I know you're glad to have Duke over there on the defense side of the ball, though.
Absolutely.
At this point of the show, we normally look at a team we will be playing the following week, and because there is none at the end of the season, we're going to look at a scouting report looking at next season. It's going to be sponsored by the LHC Group, located with offices throughout the South. Coach, starting off, I know you lost a lot on the receiving core this year's defense. Like we said earlier, Merrick Landry is coming back. How do you look right there with the receiving core?
We're going to be solid. We're going to miss those guys, but we've got Josh Wilson, who is redshirted, coming back. Him and Robbie Skates will compete at the Y position. Merritt will come back and compete with Jaron Pierce over at Z. Keelan Davis, injured and redshirted this year, will be back to compete for the H position along with some other players. Donald Frazier, who was redshirted and injured this year, big pass receiver on the team. A lot of people say faster than Elton Huggins. He'll be back to compete with Christian Muhammad at X. So we're going to be deep and talented, and we'll bring in a player or two who will help us as well. We're going to recruit a couple of players who are going to compete for playing time as well. So I think receiver-wise, we're going to be fine.
Well, let's talk about the big question. Everybody wants to know who's leading that receiving corps, who's going to be throwing the ball to him. Trey Willie's obviously a senior. Who's coming back to quarterback?
Well, we didn't really expect Trey to be our quarterback till about mid-June or late June. So we've got a lot more time to think about it now, and we got 3 quarterbacks on campus who we feel really good about. Seth Babin and Brian Babin, the brothers there, they're competing, and they'll be competing with Brandon Jones. And I tell you, I think we got 3 excellent candidates there. We'll recruit a quarterback probably from a high school as well, but I think there's going to be some excellent competition going on there, and it's going to be interesting to see. And the good thing is that competition starts today. It's not we'll wait to spring practice or we'll wait to the fall. I want to see how those guys compete in the weight room. I want to see how they compete in terms of being leaders. I want to see how they compete in the classroom.
Let's talk about the offensive line. Of course, you got Donald Usher, big man in the middle, is coming back, but how does the offensive line look?
Well, I think we're going to be good in the middle. We got Donald. He'll be a 4-year starter. We got Johnny Flowers. We got Earl Cager back. We got Alan Putt back. Those guys really competed well this year, and they're going to be solid in the front. I look for Brent Blazovich to step up and challenge. Brad Barty, we got some young guys there. We redshirted Chad Tedder, a junior college kid, who's got 2 more years eligibility now. He'll compete for one of those offensive tackle positions. He's very capable. Brad Stubbe, junior college player who will be a senior next year, who can compete for the other one. So I think we're going to be good. We just got to go get some more help. We just don't have enough depth at that position. And that's going to be a key area of recruiting for us.
Let's talk about the other guys in the trenches, defensive side of the ball, defensive line. How do they look?
We're going to be really strong there. And coming back, Jay Skidmore, Freddie King, those guys, we expect them to step up. We expect them to work hard. They got to take it to another level. They want to be the starters for us, and I think they're capable of doing that. Transfer from Louisville, who's doing really well, 6'4", 280-pound defensive end. Going to be really in the mix there. Stevie Smith coming back, a senior this year, going to be a great leader at nose guard. Fennelson and Marquise Rogers in there, Walter Vaughn. That's defensive line very well maybe and could be our strength of our team going into two-a-days.
Well, of course, we talked about Duke Adams earlier as a junior. He's returning. What about your defensive backs?
Well, you know, we got Romulus Mayo back. He had a great year this year at corner. Glad to have him back. He'll be a senior. He's also a good leader. We got some young players at corner. Eric Jackson, you know, has a lot of potential. Damaris Johnson has a lot of potential. Those guys played a lot this year. Corlando McChristian back. You know, I think our secondary is going to be good and solid. We'll probably try to bring in some help there. But, you know, we got a young man named Devin Cannon who was redshirted this year that we feel good about.
I think the last positions that we haven't covered, you got your running backs and special teams. How we look?
Well, you know, running backs, we got Mario and Gerald back. We got Breakout Fortis back, Sam Savoy. Got a lot of depth there. We're going to work to recruit some more help there because that's where we got beat up so much this year. And linebackers a position where we got Pinky Hardeman back. Keyshawn Dancer had a great year as a freshman. We redshirted Brennan Harris, and there's some other guys in there as well that have potential. So we expect some good things there. And then kicking game, Jim Hall's going to return this year, and he was our punter and kicker. We're going to, Jim, you know, he's got a chance to be our, at least something mentioned somewhere in all conference as a punter. And we're going to try to recruit a kicker to come in and help us. Jim's done a good job for us there. And
Well, Coach, you got some great sponsors for the show this year. Really took care of us. They're great people, great sponsors. Tell us a little bit about them.
well, you know, first of all, I want to thank you guys. You've done a great job. Paul and Todd behind the scenes producing the show, and you guys are class act, and I've enjoyed doing the show with you. This couldn't be possible without our sponsors. People really stepped up and helped us. Of course, our friends over at Norfolk's and all our sponsors, just right down the stretch. And I hesitate to name one because if I do, I'll forget to mention someone. But I really appreciate them, and they'll be mentioned here at the end of the show on the graphics. And we just appreciate them supporting South Asian football and supporting this show. It does a lot for our community, and we think that the best is yet to come for South Asian Louisiana football. And I encourage everyone who does support our show to support our sponsors because there's some great friends and supporters of this program in South Asian Louisiana University.
There you have it, fans. Last episode here of the Dennis Roland Show. Great sponsors, great people. Thanks to Todd and Paul behind the cameras. There you have it for the last episode. Catch us again next season.